Mr. President, as I've said before, and I want to make this very clear, I don't hate anybody. I don't. I look for grace wherever I can find. And when I say my prayers, one of the things I ask my Maker for is, please God, don't let me hate, because sometimes it's hard in Washington. There have been many a morning when I've gotten up in my overpriced Capitol Hill apartment and walking over here to the Capitol, and I give myself a pep talk. I talk to myself. I say, Kennedy, today you're going to follow Jesus. And by 10 o'clock, I still want to follow Jesus, but I also want to slap the hell out of somebody. So it's important that we remind ourselves, don't hate. And I don't hate anyone, and that includes President Biden. But President Biden and his people had the remarkable ability to take something that wasn't broken and try to fix it. They would take something that wasn't broken in government and take it apart, loosen a few screws, and then it would be broken. In a few minutes, I'm going to ask the Senate to vote, try to repair some damage that President Biden's folks did in that regard. It has to do with banks.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Hot News Today, your go-to place for cutting through the noise and getting straight to the heart of what's happening in Washington. Today we're diving into a major Senate move. The Senate passed Senator John Kennedy's resolution to roll back a Biden-era rule. What does that mean for you? It affects loans, small businesses, and community banks. Stick around, because this rule change has real-life consequences you don't want to miss.
As you know, Mr. President, the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, I'll call it the OCC, so you'll know what I'm talking about. The OCC regulates our banks, and that includes big banks, but also small banks. We've got more small banks in America than we have big banks. In fact, our smaller banks throughout this wonderful country make most of the loans to ordinary people. A lot of the big banks now, if you're just an average small businesswoman or businessman and you need a loan, you go to the larger banks and they won't even see you. You have to go to a small bank to get that loan. Small banks merge all the time. You've probably seen it in your local communities. Why do small banks merge a lot? Well, one of the reasons is they can provide better services to their customers. Another reason that small banks tend to merge a lot is because maybe they want to move into a new geographical area and they can't do it alone, so they'll merge with another bank in that area.
Senator John Kennedy took to the Senate floor and didn't hold back. He started with a message of grace. I don't hate anybody, but by 10 o'clock, sometimes I want to slap the hell out of somebody. He's frustrated with bureaucratic nonsense. New banking merger regulations from the Biden administration.
The OCC in 1995 issued what's called the Bank Merger Guidelines of 1995. And their rule for the merger of small banks was pretty simple. The OCC devised this short questionnaire where if you were two small banks and you wanted to merge, you had to answer yes or no to 14 separate questions. Very simple, very straightforward. 14 questions, you answer yes or no. And then the OCC, the folks at OCC, could look at your answers and see if they thought there was any risk to consumers. And the OCC also adopted a rule that said, look, if we don't give you an answer within 15 days, because we're busy, your merger is automatically approved. Short, sweet, very effective. We haven't had problems with our small banks, and none of these mergers, hundreds that have taken place since 1995, which has actually made the financial system in America stronger, created virtually no risk. Well, President Biden's people at the OCC decided that it wasn't broken, so they were going to fix it. Again, I don't hate anybody, but you got to call it like you see it. I think the folks at President Biden's OCC got up one day and thought there was an award for being stupid. They took this very simple, effective rule and procedure, and they turned it on its head. And what they did was tier 1 level moronic.
Here's the backstory. Since 1995, small banks wanting to merge answered 14 simple yes or no questions. If the Office of the Comptroller didn't respond in 15 days, the merger was approved. That system worked. Hundreds of small bank mergers happened with no major problems. Fast forward to the Biden administration. The OCC scrapped the simple system and replaced it with a regulatory nightmare. Small banks now had to submit mountains of paperwork, satisfy 19 criteria, and analyze 13 positive indicators. Kennedy joked it looked like it was written in Sanskrit. And that 15-day approval rule? Gone. Bank mergers were left in limbo, costing banks money and driving up prices for customers. So what happened next? Kennedy introduced a resolution to revert the Biden-era rule to the system from 1995. And today, the Senate passed it. This is big. It's a message that Washington doesn't have to overregulate everything. Hit that subscribe button if you found this helpful.